Hello, friends. Ailim here at Six Silver Seals, welcoming you, as always, to this exciting edition of Tarot Tuesday. This is for the 7-day period that begins on August 18th, 2020, and it's kind of a doozy. We have sort of a 3-day aspect. Tuesday, today proper, is the new moon in Leo. And it's kind of like the big close of Leo season. The sun sort of feels like it's pushing to get all its work done at once. And the reason for this is because not only are the sun and moon hooking up this week, but we have Mercury in the mix. So in the tarot, we've got the Magician, the sun, the High Priestess as the moon, all in Leo, which is strength. And it just is the inner process bursting forth. Inner strength bursting forth. It's not like the final mastery of the inner self, right? That's an ongoing process, as we well know. But this does sort of feel like the period of, finally leveling up. Bringing to bear the things that you've learned about who you are and what your power is. In ways that you have been diligently working to master, right? We have the Magician with all the tools at his disposal, and the High Priestess with the internal mastery, and the sun is just allowing it to radiate forth because, as we all know, strength is inner strength from Leo. And so, like I say, what we're dealing with is sort of this eruption kind of glimpses of the ascended self, right? Not the higher self, although that is sort of the way that it manifests, but the ascended self, right? The ideal 3 to 5D entity that we are is really stepping forward here. The us that we aspire to be is stepping out into the world just for a moment. Just like a taste test of what it would be like to be that person in this body. As opposed to in the future, when we get there. Let us see what awaits. For the last time, Leo will be first, because it is this Saturday that the sun will be moving into Virgo. Things will start to cool off just a little. And so for Leo, we begin with justice, balance, equity, fairness, and specifically what I'm getting from this for you, Leo, is that this is a period where you are finally getting your due. We are in a vein getting all of Leo season compressed into 3 of its final days. Now you'll thrive here because your sun is native here. This is high energy for you. It will be lower energy for Aquarius, your opposite, as well as your fellow fixed signs, Taurus and Scorpio. But for you, it will be especially powerful. And in a summer that has somehow managed to continue to grow more chaotic than the spring from which it arose, you finally get your time in the sun, so to speak. Although it will be an older frustration than just these last few weeks, right? This is something which will have been sort of sand in your craw for quite some time. So enjoy what parts of it that there are to be enjoyed while you can. For Virgo, we have the High Priestess. And so the lunar energy will be strong with you, Virgo, at this time. The best of the days for you are probably going to come towards the later end of this because it's kind of a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday thing. So like the latter part of Tuesday and most of Wednesday are going to be the best of this for you. And that is particularly the case if you're going through something right now. Virgo, this is the moment where you learn what you're made of in a trying time. This is the end of a test for you in some. That's all I'm getting from this. I can't say which arena of your life it's in. But it ends with you coming out the other side a survivor. Maybe even the victor. Uh, Certainly wiser and stronger for the experience, which is the whole point. And that will be made clearer for you. For Libra, we have the Ten of Pentacles, the card of worldly opulence, right? It's a period where maybe this is your light bulb moment for some of you Librans, where you have the $1,000,000 idea, kind of. Again, I definitely see this as like the pinnacle of some either the pinnacle of some groundwork being laid in the one sense, right? For those of you who like run a home business, this is the thing that finally gets it up and moving. But for some of you Librans, it is the opening to like a long sought after career advancement. It's definitely something to do with the way that one provides for one's material needs and it coming into highest alignment with what is good for you. But again, that can be nebulous, right? There's a lot of different ways to define success. It may even be that what you're experiencing is your redefinition of success. On the whole, though, very positive things happening on the work front for you, Libra. For Scorpio, we have the King of Wands. The intensity in his stare is not something that is alien to a Scorpio, and especially with Wands, that's what you have, right? King of Wands is intensity and lots of power, and this is lean into this, Scorpio, by pouring your passion into by taking stock of what you pour your passion into. You may find on closer examination this week, Scorpio, that when you put energy towards the things you love, everything seems to go more smoothly. For Sagittarius, we have the Seven of Cups. And this is the card of illusions, but I don't see you as plagued by them in this, Sagittarius. This is more a feeling of having them lifted, right? The veil coming off of your eyes. And you finally see the illusions for exactly what they are and what perpetrated them, or who perpetrated them. For Capricorn, we have the Empress. So this is an earthy energy, which is not something that you're unfamiliar with, Capricorn. But the creative energy of this feels different to you. Somehow it feels opposite your norm. The Empress is the opposite number of the Emperor, and there's a dichotomy that is drawn between them. They have two different methods of accomplishing the same thing. And this is the one that is not necessarily all that familiar to you. One that kind of feels just a little out of balance or out of step. But again, this is a chance to grow into and embrace something also. As we saw from the opening cards. It may be that you're growing into this strange new direction in order to truly flourish. For Aquarius, we have the Prince of Wands. And this too is intensity, like the King of Wands for your fellow fixed sign Scorpio. There's a kind of youthful ardor to the Prince of Wands that isn't present with the King. This is very much like a dog chasing a car, in that, to paraphrase the Joker in The Dark Knight, it's not really knowing what to do with it if you caught it, but just knowing that you're on the chase. Is kind of the energy that I'm picking up from this Prince of Wands. It might behoove you to take some time, or this may be the thing that illuminates for you, that you need to really sit down and take stock of what it is that you're after. And you're already on the chase. It isn't what it will cost you to get it, but what it will take from you to keep it that is the issue here. Next up is Pisces. We have the Lovers. It's a really lovely card. Things finally coming together. Especially with another person. Now, this needn't necessarily be a romantic relationship, right? It can be a close friendship. It can be a business partnership. Some other form of work relation, perhaps. But again, it's coming closer together in a way that is helpful to you and beneficial to you. And you're seeing the ways in which it makes sense to step into this relationship. It may even be that a number of your relationships take off in this way, but there will be one in particular that is showing its full blossom under all this energy. And this is probably not the worst time to lean into it. For Aries, we have the Ace of Wands. A new passion is beginning. There is definitely some kind of energetic takeoff here. A new beacon is lit. There's a new feeling of energy surrounding you that you can use to really get something done. Which is so interesting because it's not your fire, it's Leo's fire, but something about it feels that's probably the thing with Aries, is that all fire burns and we like it. But this is just it, right? This is fire to take in a problem, or take in a situation and turn it to the direction that is consistent with your highest good. For Taurus, we have the Fool. The beginning of a new journey, or maybe just the illumination of the opportunity to take the path in a new direction. And it's interesting because the feeling I'm picking up from this Taurus is that there's the feeling that the direction the road you're on goes, but not what it leads to. And the Fool is here using the energies of the cosmos to light up a second path for you where you can see the ending, but you don't know how you're going to get there, other than this first step. And the time has come to ask yourself the question of, would I rather know where I'm headed or where I end up? This also kind of feels like there's some Two of Swords energy here for me. One path closes the other, but neither is really the wrong decision. But as always, your mileage may vary. That goes for the rest of you, too. For Gemini, we have the Hierophant. And Gemini, what this solar energy is doing for you is giving you a glimpse inside the machine, so to speak. Like you're gonna have a sense over these 3 days of getting a chance to see like all the cogs of the machine and how they make the whole thing turn. And it seems to me that this knowledge is beneficial to you somehow. Um, in terms of like getting command of the situation as it stands. Um, Not that it ever really felt out of your control, but now it's going to feel more firmly in it. But there is a recognition, kind of a larger symptom that it assists, not symptom, excuse me, a larger system than it was currently believed that one had bought into, but knowing that you could walk away from it at any time now that you're aware that it's there. We can only do as well as we did, but we can always do better next time, is kind of the vibe from this. It's the Princess of Wands for Cancer. And there's a strange kind of sensuality to this card. A fervor that I don't normally get with it. In here, it feels almost like a warning, not to succumb to temptation. No matter how alluring something might be, to act without thinking is to shoot without aiming. And you need to not be so caught up in the way that something feels that you forget to also be a little bit intellectual about it too, or a little bit practical about it. But by the flip side of that, there is also the caution not to completely disengage from passion either. It is necessary, Cancer, to feel, but a balance of feeling is required. And that is Tarot Tuesday for this week. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, subscribe. I may not be a Leo, but I also live for attention. You can also find me on Patreon. Those of you who came here from Patreon saw this a day early on Monday. And until next time, be good to yourselves and to one another.